everyone, welcome to another episode of Tubby Time. I thought that today would be a great day to make some apple crisp because Thanksgiving is right around the corner. Let's get started. So these are all of our ingredients. We have a nice plethora of apples that we are going to start by. Plethora? We're just gonna start by peeling and cutting apples for the apple crisp. This is gonna take a little bit.
Wow. You gonna peel that onion for this too?
No.
Oh, that's for our other video we're doing today, isn't it?
I don't know, are you using onion?
I would hope so.
We have our peeled apple, now we're gonna cut it. Doesn't matter how you cut it, as long as it gets cut. I could probably take a little bit more before I get to the seeds. I don't wanna waste any good part of an apple.
We don't have more.
We need all of those for our recipe. And then you're just gonna take the big chunks and chop them up into little bite-sized pieces. This is probably a good size. And we're just gonna throw them in our casserole dish. They don't have to be even, they can be different shapes. Try to get them around the same size if possible, but it's not a big deal if they're a little different. And we are going to do this with the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 apples. All right, I will be back when I'm done peeling and cutting these apples. The apples have been peeled and chopped up, and this is what we have. As you can see, I did not end up using all of them. I ended up using 6. I could have taken a bigger casserole dish and cut them all up, but it's just me and Josh. I don't need a bigger apple crisp than this. You just want to make sure that when you do make it, there's a little extra room on top because we need to put all the oatmeal crumble still. You still need room for that. So we are just going to put this right in front of us, actually. And we are going to start adding some, what are we adding? Sugar and cinnamon. So I'm taking about 1/2 cup of sugar, and you just want to sprinkle it over all of the apples. And you are going to take 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, and again, just sprinkle it around the whole thing. That's fine. And now we want to mix this all together. You can use a spoon. I find it easier if I just use my hands. And that way you get all of the apples coated. When you do this recipe, you can use any kind of apples you want. Granny Smith apples are usually good because that little bit of tang or bitterness is good with all of like the sweet sugar. I wouldn't suggest like Red Delicious only because those apples are already really sweet. I could not tell you what apples I bought at Big Y for this recipe. They weren't Red Delicious, but they weren't Granny Smith. I think it was whatever was cheapest. All right, all of these apples look coated. There's a few sugar clumps at the bottom. It's not a big deal. So here we have the first portion already done with the apple crisp. Super simple. And I'm going to push this off to the side and wash my hands. Now we are going to work on the crumble topping. First, you're gonna take your flour. Have a little bowl, and you want 1 cup of flour. Doesn't have to be exact. I know baking is inexact, but it's just a crumble topping. It's not a big deal. And you're also gonna need 1 cup of brown sugar. Make sure when you put that in your measuring cup, you pack it down. That's the correct way how to measure brown sugar out. And then we have our old-fashioned oats.
Do they have to be old-fashioned, or can they be new?
They can be new-fashioned. They just have to be oats. Just 1/2 cup of that. We are taking baking powder. I can't open this. We're gonna do 1 teaspoon of that. And then more cinnamon. Just 1/2 teaspoon again. And last but not least, ground nutmeg. And all you need is 1/4 teaspoon of this. A little bit goes a long way. Oh, actually that's not last. You also need butter. You need, 1/4 cup. So 1 stick of butter. I mean 1/2 cup. 1 stick of butter. And I'm gonna take my cutting board. Oh, there's soap all over this. You want to cube the butter. And you don't want it to be softened. You can take it right out of the fridge. I'm cutting them in smaller cubes because it'll make it easier to combine in this crumble mixture. So that is everything you need for the crumble mixture. And again, you can use a spoon to start mixing it all up. I just use my hands. That way I know everything is getting combined, and you also kind of want to like smush down the butter too. You just want to keep doing this until this crumble is more crumbly than just powder and butter chunks. So it'll take a little bit of time, just a few minutes, but it'll get there. I've just been doing this for, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and you can see it's combining. The butter has broken down, and now we're getting all of these crumbs, which is what you want. So this is done. I'm just gonna put it on top of the apples now. And you just wanna make sure that it's over all of the apples, just evenly spread out. Trying to get in the corners. If some apples are popping through a little bit, it's not a big deal. One other thing that I forgot to mention is that you don't need to grease your casserole dish or your pan if you're doing the apple crisp. A lot of recipes say that you do, but the apples, when they cook down, it gets so juicy. Nothing's sticking to the bottom of your dish. I've done this before. It doesn't stick. You'll be fine. And that is it. Super simple apple crisp. We're gonna put this in the oven now. It's at 350, and we're gonna leave this in the oven for about 50 minutes. Check on it. It'll probably be around 50 minutes to an hour, and then it'll be done. It has been 50 minutes. And look at that gorgeous apple crisp.
Delectable.
Bring it on over there. It smells really good. You can see how there's it's browned on some areas. There's a little bit of apple filling coming out on the sides, but that's totally fine. So 50 minutes was a perfect amount of time for it to be in the oven at 350. Where's our fork? So this fork has already crumble on it because while it was in the oven, I just stuck it in just to make sure that the apples weren't too hard, because that's how you know if it's underbaked. The apples aren't as soft, but they are. You ready?
No.
You're saying it like you don't like apple crisp.
I love apple crisp.
So be happy.
You be happy.
It's nice and juicy and warm and crumbly and crispy.
Put salt and pepper in here?
No.
That's dumb.
I got a little tang right here at first.
I did not get that, but whatever.
Well, what do you think?
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
No, I think it's good.
I think it's really good. The apples are definitely cooked enough. They're nice and soft.
One of the things I cannot stand is when apple crisp is undercooked and the apples are hard. But it looks
I did
great.
that with a pie before.
Yeah, it looks great on the surface, and you're like, oh, it's gonna be so good, and then you bite into it, and you're like, oh god.
Yeah.
No. That's really good. Good job.
Yeah. Thank you.
Delicious.
Don't forget to get vanilla ice cream with it. You can eat apple crisp cold. You take it out of the fridge and put it in the microwave, heat it up. Yeah, pretty good. All right, well, thank you for tuning in, and subscribe, comment, stay safe, and stay tubby.
Hey!